Okay, thank you for the opportunity to present Olderfleet to you. Olderfleet is at 477 Collins Street, so it sits on the kind of re-emergent Midtown precinct as the CBD migrates west, in a really glorious part of Collins Street, next to the Intercontinental Hotel and the Rialto. And it's Mirvac's. Mirvac had very high aspirations. They developed and built this building. It's for Deloitte, 58,000 square metres, over 40 levels. High sustainability ambitions, particularly around platinum shell and core rating. So it was the first in Australia to achieve accreditation. One of the key highlights of the site is these glorious buildings that sit on the whole of the Collins Street frontage, the Olderfleet Buildings, which are obviously part of Melbourne's grandest remaining heritage fabric. So we took that as the opportunity to create the entrance to it, and here they are in their full glory, restored glory. And what that opportunity gave us to have this kind of context where we've got the restored old against new contemporary workplace, which was going to be elevated up, or is elevated up behind, with a car park, which gave us the opportunity to elevate the tower high. And then between the two, we create this new place, this new space. So going through the threshold of the heritage buildings, dark, sombre, calm, sort of masks the actual scale of the lobby and the new top-lit, light-filled atrium that sits behind that. So, and then that gives us the opportunity to fully restore those heritage buildings on both sides for the first time in a very, very long time. Have very kind of clear openings through those, but also using new lifts and staircases to service those buildings without ripping the guts out to get the vertical circulation in, so they're meaningful and usable. The reception is a hotel-style concierge, so very sort of light and trying to create a bit of a hotel ambience in terms of the arrival sequence. And there's a lobby cafe that sits under the car park, which is elevated there. You go through to the lift lobbies. There's the same sort of calm, quiet, moody ambience that we have in the threshold coming in. And then the tower itself. So as we go up into the workplace, into the high-rise, it's a simple block that's then set back to give breathing room for the heritage buildings themselves, and obviously the side setbacks there. It's then cut in two, so you've actually got two vertical slices of the building to reduce the scale and the mass of the main the street front elevation. And then they're treated differently. So there's an express structural frame and ladder frame around the western side, which holds the core, the wet areas, the service rooms, and particular meeting rooms at the north and south, and then the open workplaces to the east, and then that's clad in sort of traditional curtain walling and sun shading. And the building has to step back to deal with the overshadowing of the south bank. So that's why the top of the building sort of starts to cut back. We've introduced these client floors and open terraces and roof areas to enable access to the building. The original design of the building allowed for opportunity for any number of these, depending on tenant demands, as you go up. But that also helps break up the articulation of the tower itself to create these three discrete neighbourhoods within the building of different floor areas as you step up, and then obviously clad in appropriate solar shading to deal with the thermal gain issues. Floor areas range from 1900 down to 1400, so different scales of floor area for different tenant demands. Deloitte have the trunk of the building. They've got a 22,058 NLA, and they were the principal tenant. And as we go up, you can see the external terraces, and as the building sets back, the setting back actually gave us the opportunity to create these open spaces and these open areas as we rise up to the top of the building, and then profiled for the planning reasons I've described. It's a side core building, obviously very flexible floor plate, great views out. Obviously as you get high, you've got these views across the south bank. You can punch through to create inter-tenancy connections. The other thing that we did as part of the base build is upgrade the fire stair so that it's 2-hour fire-rated glass on it, so you can use the fire stair as internal circulation stairs, which most of the tenants have taken up, and obviously makes the building more efficient. And great views to Melbourne Park along the river and to the south bank. And there you can see Deloitte, their open terrace, so their opportunity to have sort of calmer meeting spaces, a bit of biophilic design, and the open terraces towards the south to enable meetings to happen outside. Going back down to the lobby, there's a whole community of uses that are part of this development. So there's a club lounge, a business lounge, I'll come back to in a minute. The car park, you can see on top of that, we've got childcare and wellness. The fit out's not quite don't have photographs of it. And then a collection of uses in the restored heritage building, so includes private dining, a signature restaurant, a whiskey bar, I recommend, and some private suites and co-share. In terms of materiality, we've obviously tried to look at the heritage buildings and all the new materials in harmony with the old, so articulated GRC, ribbed metal panels around the core that overlap, mirrored detailing on the car park core to reflect, you get these nice glimpses of the heritage building in that. And then Grigio Solo limestone on the floor, on the car park and on the staircases as you go down to the work club lounge, which is principally meeting spaces, but it's a great meeting place for the building. It's actually proving to be a really, really important part of the building, and the general public can go have a great coffee or a beer at the end of the day. And sit and look up, and you can look up at the 35-metre high ceiling above you and the tower that sits on top of that. 2 minutes. Oh, I'm doing all right. The work club has used, there's co-share offices that have moved into restored buildings of the Olderfleet building. And here you can see one of the new punch-outs to push back with views back into the lobby. There's a through route, so there's actually a through route between Collins Street and Flinders Lane on the building, so you can actually use this as a cut-through. On the Flinders Lane side, which is in this part of the city, is principally car park entrances, service entrances. So we've tried to activate this with a cafe at the entranceway, which is on the axis of Customs House Lane. Then you go in, an entrance sort of mimics a more humble entrance that mimics the Collins Street entrance, but you can take your bike right in a street level down to the end of trip facilities, which are the palette and the finish and the kind of luxuriant finishes in harmony with the rest of the buildings, and also the wet areas within the tower are similar to this. Or you can continue along that sort of laneway through to the back of the business lounge, or continue on to the lobby, up back to the Collins Street entrance lobby, and enjoy either the sun coming through the top lit atrium as that sort of slides across the internal walls, or Wolfgang Buttress's representation of the sun called solar, which might look like something else nowadays in people's minds, but anyway, that is 8 minutes, I don't know.